Hi, this is Ren Carlton, and today I'm joined by my friend Mike Boudreau, restructuring and automotive expert from Metro Detroit. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good, Ren. Thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, would you mind introducing yourself for anyone that doesn't know you?
Yeah, so for sure. I've been in the restructuring game for well over 20 years. I got started in the late 80s and through the 90s. Probably 80% of those situations were automotive tier 2 and tier 3 companies. I've spent most of my career in the middle market and the restructuring, turnaround, and business valuation game. So a lot of experience, and we're in some interesting times. So we'll see what we see over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really interesting to have you on today because obviously with the COVID-19 and the quarantine and everything like that, I mean, that's somewhat of an unprecedented thing that's happening in our life now, and to see what's happening in just the world in general. So just like on a 50,000-foot view in terms of just restructuring in general, what are you seeing in terms of restructuring in terms of the business market?
What we're seeing now are healthy companies that are now facing liquidity risk. Business plan projections that were put together, say in the fourth quarter of last year or the first quarter of last year, you can almost tear them up and start all over because companies, their revenue and their top lines are changing so much. The companies that were having issues prior to COVID are what we're starting to see is the first wave of problems. Lenders and landlords have stepped up. They've offered some relief of roughly 3 months of some rent accommodations as well, and then the lenders have done the same with principal and interest. So it's interesting from that perspective. The companies have been exercising what I call liability management. And these are things that we've seen. We've seen companies drawing down on their revolvers. We've seen them gain loans on unencumbered assets. Most of the companies have received their PPP money. They put CapEx on hold. We've seen hiring freezes. We've seen furloughs, layoffs, salary reductions. So those are all things that we're seeing in the market right now. Now, going forward, what are we going to see over the next couple of months? I mean, some of these companies are probably going to approach their landlords and lenders for additional waivers or moratoriums on their payments. The lenders are going to have to get with the federal regulators and see how they would rate those loans and whether or not they can do that or not. I think companies are going to be approaching their lenders for forbearance agreements, potentially out of formula requirements. So there's going to be a lot of that, some additional requests coming, but it's all going to be a case-by-case situation.
So maybe we could take a step back. Why do you think this is happening? Like in terms of now, because again, the market, like we've had COVID quarantine for a few months. It's actually things are starting to loosen up. So why do you think the business market's going to be impacted now more so than it was before?
Well, a lot of the companies have been closed down. So now they're in startup, and they may not have enough liquidity to get going, or they have just enough to get going, but not to fully ramp up to where they need to be. So for those companies who are low on liquidity, they're going to need some help to ramp up to meet their sales goals. So it's going to be, it's a difficult situation. Most companies have never been in a situation where they've just shut down for 90 days and then had to restart their engine.